A nice, easy warm-up. So feet nice and wide for me. And let's turn out the right foot and come down to the floor. All right, get down as low as you can. Left hand to the ceiling. Reach that arm over your head, stretching out that rib cage. Drop that left hand onto the floor. Twist the right arm up to the ceiling. Let's open up those lower backs. Be nice and gentle. Let's change other side. Left hand down. Right arm up to the ceiling. Opening up that lumbar spine. Take the right hand down. Left hand goes up. Twist that lower back. Oh, lovely. Let's change the other side. It's so nice to see Tina again. Do you know that? Come over. Reach that arm over your head, guys. Stretch out those ribs and shoulders. And then drop that hand onto the floor. Twist and rotate that lower back. Get it to open up nicely. Change one more time all the way over to that left foot. Bend your left knee. Twist the right arm up. Lovely. Right hand goes down. Left hand goes up. And sink your hips towards the ground as you hold that stretch. Drop the hands here, but just facing the center wall. Put your two hands in your front knee. Sit nice and tall and just start to pull slowly. So the front leg is bending and straightening just a little bit. Back knee stays relatively straight. And do 4, 3, 2, 1. Change the other side. So you're just warming up these thighs and hip flexor muscles. So again, hand on your front knee and you're going to sink down nice and gentle. Not forcing it, but you're opening up that hip flexor. Do 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back into center. Two legs nice and wide. Left hand to the ground. Twist the right arm up to the ceiling. Turn your head to look up towards that ceiling. Nice and gentle. And then change those arms. Rotate your spine, turning head, neck, and shoulders. And drop those hands down. Walk your feet together. Pull your tummy muscles in and roll that spine back up. So 2 ankles together, 2 feet touching. Hands in your thighs, chin to your chest. Roll down, guys, nice and slowly. Stretch out those hamstrings. Bending your right leg. Focus on your left hamstring, left calf, left knee, left hip. And then straighten that right leg. Bend your left leg. Same thing. Focus on one hip, hamstring, calf, knee. Hold that stretch. As you straighten the legs, roll back up, but squeeze your thighs to pull the spine back up. Roll your shoulders back. Bring your heels together, toes out. Curl down, draw your belly button in, sinking down into that stretch. Looking at those knees, bending the right leg and keeping your left leg straight. And then straighten that right leg, bend your left leg. Just open up slowly to the hamstrings. As you straighten back up, squeeze those thighs, roll that spine back up, rotate your toes inwards, heels out. Curl down, draw your tummy muscles in, go all the way to the floor. Nice big stretch. Again, bending the right leg and keeping that left leg straight. And then straighten that right leg, bend your left leg, just open it up gently. And as you straighten out those legs, roll that spine back up. And sit down and get yourselves comfortable. So grab your 2 little hand weights. I'm going to just grab mine. And have your bands close by and your cushions if we need them. See what mood I'm in. So have those little weights. All right, let's start with our legs up nice and straight with a few roll-ups. Let me just take off my jumper. All right. So have the hand weights in your hands and start with your legs out in front with your 2 heels together, big toes touching. All right, so let's take the weights up to like a bicep curl position. So I want your wrists facing towards your face and I want your shoulders over your hips. You're gonna pull the tummy muscles in. As you roll down, just go down halfway and start to straighten those arms out and roll off that tailbone. But don't let your, well, see if you can get your lower back to the ground, but don't let your shoulders touch the ground. And then come back up, bicep curl. So you're gonna inhale, exhale, go down. So you're rolling that lower back into the mat. And then you're coming back up into a bicep curl. Inhale, exhale, go down. Inhale, sit nice and tall. Exhale, down. Draw those tummy muscles in. That's a bicep curl. Let's go down with that lower back. That's perfect. Warming up. See if you can get the lower back to the mat now. And then come off the ground. Yes. Do 4. Down to the floor. Pull back up. That's perfect for 3. Lovely bicep curl. Last 2. On the last one, let's go down. Get your lower back to the floor, guys. So go right down, lower back to the ground, but shoulder blades off that mat. Turn your wrist down towards the floor. Turn your wrist down, that's it. And start to pulse, I should say, pulse. As if you're trying to lift the ribs, drop the ribs. Let's do 6, 5, 4, for 3 more, 2 more toes, starting to warm up. Last one, take your arms back behind your head, drop your head to the floor, pull your knees into tabletop for a second, knees up into tabletop, lovely. Take your right hand, same leg, right hand, right leg, take it away from midline. So take those arm and legs back, bring it back into center, same hand, same leg on the left, and print your spine into that mat as you extend that leg. Good. Now, add in a mini reverse curl. When your knees come in, reverse curl. Lift your tailbone off the floor. Same hand, same leg, extend. Yes. Reverse curl. Same hand, same leg, extend. Reverse curl. Draw those tummy muscles in. Print your spine into that mat for a little bit of support. Try get your weight to touch the floor above your head as you reach that arm back. Yes. That's it. Heads are down. So there's no tension. Those neck muscles. Press your heads back into the floor, especially on the reverse curls. Last 4, guys. Press back. Reverse curl for 3. That's it. 2 more. Nearly there. Last one. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders up like 100 position, guys. Extend those legs up to the ceiling for me. Now, let's slowly drop the heels all the way to the ground. So all the way down, all the way to the floor. Let your heels touch the floor. Turn your wrists up towards the ceiling. Bicep curl, come up for me. Come up, come up, come up. Sit up nice and tall. So we're going to do it in sets now. We're going to do those 2 combined. We're going to do 6 of each. So 6 bicep curls. Let's go down to the lower back onto that mat for 1. Come back up, bicep curl. For 2, go down to the lower back. That's it. Come back up. For 3, and get your lower back to the ground. If you need a cushion underneath that lower back, grab a little cushion. Let's do 4, go down. Bicep curl. 5, let's go down, print that spine. Last one, 6, go down all the way, all the way, all the way. Drop your heads, take the weights back, take the knees to tabletop, same hand, same leg. Extend, reverse curl into the weights. 6, extend, reverse curl into the weights. That's it, 5, that's perfect. Reverse curl. 4 more, feel those tummy muscles pulling in away from the t-shirts for 3. Last 2. Reverse curl, feel those tummy muscles. Last 1. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders into 100 position. Have your wrists facing down to the floor. Extend those legs. Let's go down with the heels all the way to the mat. All the way down with those heels. Try bicep curls coming up. Let's do 4 on this one. Just ready. Inhale. You're going to love this one. Exhale. Go down for 4. Lift right up. Feel those tummy muscles for 3. All the way down. Lift right up. Bicep curls for 2. Exhale. Come back up. Last one. Let's go down all the way, all the way, all the way. Take those arms back. Take your knees to tabletop. Same arms, same legs. Extend. Reverse curl for 1. Extend. Reverse curl. Keep those heads on the floor. Nearly there. Last 2. Oh, my stomach's starting to burn. Last one. Reverse curl. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders up. Extend the legs. We're going to go 2-setter now. We're going to drop those heels to the floor all the way down. Bicep curl up. Let's go. Up for 1. My stomach hates me. Go down to the floor. And 2. Let's go all the way down. Take those arms up over the head. Go all the way to the floor. Extend the arm and leg out. Reverse curl for 1. Extend the leg and arm out. Reverse curl for 2. And let's do 1 more roll up. Let's lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Let's press those heels to the floor. And try roll back up. And release. Drop those weights for a second. Drop your heads towards your knees. Stretch out those hamstrings. Nice and gentle. Just spend a little time opening up your hamstrings, your hips through your spine. And let's roll like a ball. So grab those heels, guys. Soften your back. Roll all the way back to your shoulder blades. If you want to bring it into a rollover, press your hands to the floor. Stretch out those back muscles. Roll back up. Inhale and exhale. So choose roll over or roll like a ball to soften out those backs. Do another 4. Inhale and exhale for 3 more. Nice and gentle. Last 2. Exhale, roll back up. Last 1. Let's bring the heels to them. Stretch out those back muscles. Heels in, knees across, and just open up across your tummy muscles. Shoulder blades flat to that mat. And then roll to the other side. Sink those knees over. Stretch it out. Release. And then bring it back into center. Now let's stick with those little hand weights. Let's take the legs to tabletop. And we're going to hit those oblique muscles just a little bit. So 2 knees to tabletop for me. Take both hand weights together. So glue your hands together. And we're going to do like a normal crisscross, but obviously we're not doing a little bit of neck support. So you want your heads to drop to the floor every single time. So take your 2 hand weights to the right-hand side of your thighs. So 2 hand weights. Now pause there because you want to twist almost too far with the weights. Try extend the left leg out. So it's a normal crisscross. And you're twisting. So 2 hands together on the right hand side. And then you inhale, bring it back to center, drop your head. Exhale, lift as high as you can on that left side. Twist, twist, twist. And you pause for a few seconds. Inhale, drop the head. Exhale. Now if you're feeling extra brave, of course you can keep your heads up. It's up to yourselves. Inhale, drop to the floor. Exhale, press. That's it. So your weights are landing, both elbows obviously, outside your thighs. You're reaching those weights as far as you can. And we're going to just do 4 of these. Twist across. For 3 more. Twist across. Yes. And the last 2. Now on the last one, you're going to twist and hold that position, whichever side you've landed on. Now, you're going to extend the opposite leg, drop that heel onto the floor and keep the other leg in tabletop. And here we're going to pulse up. So your 2 hand weights in your hands, you're going to pulse up towards that oblique, towards that side. That's it. And do 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the legs to tabletop, swap the weights to the other side. We haven't even dropped the heads to the floor. Extend the opposite heel, lift up and pulse and twist into that movement. Do 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to center. Grab those weights on top of your knees. Switch off for a second, dropping your shoulders back into the mat and pressing your heads back into the floor. You're just rocking from side to side, just opening up those tummy muscles nicely. Drop the heels down, sink the knees over and roll the knees across, stretching at those lower backs for me. Do the same to your other side, all the way over, stretching it out nice and gentle. And then bring it to center. Drop those little weights. Grab your cushion or gurney ball, whatever you have close by. We're going to grab it just for the tailbones, just for those lower abdominals. And we're going to concentrate on the lower tummy muscles, okay? So cushions, or if you're having a cushion, double up. So if you have a gurney ball, it's almost the perfect size. You can deflate it a little bit if you need to. Good. Lovely. Now you're going to start with your legs out nice and straight. Separate your feet out. So your feet are more natural hip distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. Good. Now put your hands onto the floor and press your shoulder blades back. So if you need to deflate the cushions or those gurney balls, do so to make them somewhat half inflated. Now think about your right leg just lifting off the ground. And hover the right leg and you're lifting from your abdominals. I want you to brace your stomach so you don't feel any pressure underneath your lower back. Make sure you're not pushing through your left thigh. You're just hovering that right leg. And then you release the right foot. Same with the left leg. And you're just going to hover and hold and try imagine lifting with your stomach muscles and not from that other leg. And release. And that's all you're doing, very simple. So have the cushion supporting your lower back. So have the cushion lower towards your tailbone if you need more support as you hover. That's it. It's very simple. I'm just going to get you to recruit the lower abdominals first. And you're lifting. That's it. And lower. Now check, when you're lifting, be aware of what you're doing with the other leg. Are you pushing from the other leg? That's it. Just do 2 more like that. It's very simple, very easy. You're just recruiting the lower abdominals. And then 1 more. It's nice and simple, nice and easy. Now, see if you can take both legs to tabletop. We're going to reverse it back to that position. So again, if you need to, and if your back is tight today, push your back into the floor. If you're comfortable, stay in neutral, hollow your stomach muscles out, and you're going to take your right leg and you're going to press your right leg down to 1 centimeter off the ground and just hold that position. You're hollowing your stomach. If you're printing your back, that's fine, but if you're in neutral, I really want you to focus on that lower abdominal fibers here. And we're going to pulse that right leg. You're just going to tip it and pulse it, pulse it, pulse it. Check if your lower back is okay. Check that you can keep your torso nice and steady. Feel those lower abdominal fibers. Imagine that right leg is reaching to that far wall. And do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, change that leg, extend. Now you're working through the hip flexor muscle. Brace those abdominals as you start to pulse. It makes your abdominals do tiny little contractions, and you're going to really feel it on that lower abdominal fibers. Now draw your toe muscles in, print your back into the floor if you need that bit of a support. Cushion's nice and low if you need a bit more. Let's do 4. Don't stop. For 3, for 2, for 1. Take both legs to tabletop. Now, try and maintain somewhat of a neutral spine with a little arch to your lower back. Now, brace your tummy, put your heels together, separate your knees out nice and wide. Take your hands up towards the ceiling. Now, you're going to lift the head, neck, and shoulders. I know your pelvis is up a little bit of a height, but lift the head, neck, and shoulders, reach the hands past your hips, and drop both heels down towards the floor. And then bring it back up, drop the heads, okay? So you're going to inhale, and then exhale. And think about your lower abdominals just hollowing. I know it's kind of tough, especially if your pelvis is up that little bit higher. You're going to exhale. And when you feel comfortable, you can try extend those legs. Now again, you can support those neck muscles. You're going to straighten those legs out. And then pull back in. So if the gurney is too inflated, it's going to be too high. It's going to be hard for you to lift that head, neck, and shoulders. So you're just going to try not put too much pressure on those neck muscles. If you want to use those hands, and extend those legs out, and you're going to hollow the lower abdominals. So the cushion is there for support to stop that pelvis from rolling too much. Good. Actually, I'd go even more than that, Nikki. I'd take more air out. Yes. Do 4, guys. Feel those lower abdominals kicking in. Draw the knees back. If you want to do it with your heads down, yes, you can, as long as your lower back feels no effort. Good. Ooh, my cushion's slipping out. When you get to your last one, take your legs straight up towards the ceiling. I know your hip flexors hate me, but legs straight up towards the ceiling. That's it. Reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Single leg heel drop down and bring it back up. Work through the thigh and the hip flexor. Down. Back up. Last 4. Feel those quads burning nicely. Heel touches the floor nearly if you can. 3 more. Perfect. So we're still engaging those two muscles. Last 2. Last 1. Oh, pull those knees in. Switch off those little hip flexors. Rock your knees from side to side. Soften those lower backs for me. Now we're going to go into our rollovers. We're going to do our eccentric load, but we're going to hit those obliques again. So take those cushions out for me. And I'm going to move myself sideways on this one. So just watching the screen for a second. So we're going to go into our rollovers. If you just want to do normal rollovers, that's fine. You're going to go over into 12 o'clock. But if you can, work the eccentric load down at an angle. So you're just twisting the legs over and then rolling over. If you're stronger, you come up at an angle as well. So you can twist to the side and roll over to hit those obliques. Okay, if you want to go down and center, you can play around with the exercises, no problem. You can just twist, center, down, and twist across. Now, if you need to tuck and roll, same thing, grab those knees, roll over. And you can work on the eccentric, the downward face, where you're just bringing the legs off center and then dropping back down and roll like a ball. Okay, so just work to your level, but make it a little bit of a challenge, not impossible, a little a challenge as you can. Okay, nice and control. So you're taking your legs from 12 o'clock, bring them to 2 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Yes, if you can go down, the eccentric load is the downward phase. That's a control phase. If you're rolling over at the angle, that's the constant. That's the hardest one. Try and do that and keep your heads on the floor. Now you can always do a little kind of smiley face with your feet at the bottom movement and then roll back up. It's a lovely way to kick in those obliques. So you can do a smiley face with your feet and roll up and over. Yes. Nice and controlled. Hit those obliques. Last 4, guys. Press your shoulders back into that mat. This is a tough one on those arms as well. For 3. Feel those triceps kicking in and make sure your wrists are nice and flat. Perfect, Siobhan. That's it. Go, go, go. That's 2. Yes, nice and controlled there, guys. Last one. And then slowly drop your heels down, knees over, shoulders back. Release those tummy muscles nice and gentle. Roll the knees from one side all the way over to the other side. Go all the way across with those knees all the way into the side of your hips and pelvis. Nice and gentle. And then bring it back into center. Now, roll onto your sides facing towards me, guys. We're going to work into the rotators of your hips. Ooh, just move my weight out of the way. All right, take your bottom leg and bend it up to 90 degrees, and the top leg is nice and straight initially. So we're just going to activate the glute maximus and the medius here in your hips. Heads can be down or heads in your hands, completely up to yourself. I just want to concentrate on this muscle here. So you're going to lift and lower the top leg, but remember, curl your toes so the side of your foot is parallel to the ceiling. So we're just going to wake up that glute maximus and glute medius, and just put your hand on your glutes, put your thumb into the muscle where you can feel it working as you lift and lower, and just squeeze your backside. Perfect. Now just do 4 of these, just warming up that glute maximus. For 3 more. Exhale as you lift. Squeeze those glutes. For 2. That's it. 1 more. Hold up there. Hold that position. Let's lift it up. Hold. Perfect. Now press your knee in towards your chest and then press the leg out. So just a normal little activation to your glutes. You're just getting more range in the hips, working through all those fibers, and squeeze. Good. Just do 4 of these, pushing through. Imagine you're pushing through jelly. Knee to your chest for 3. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. That's it. Push through and squeeze those glutes here. On your last one, hold that leg up there. Hold that position. Perfect. Now we're going to bring in rotators. We're going to bend the knee to 90 degrees for a second. You're going to bring your heels together and separate your heels. Heels together and separate your heels. Now, imagine you have a gap between those knees the whole time, and you're going to work right into your TFL, right into the back of those glutes. And we're just going to do 4 and 3. It's nice and simple. For 2. On your last one, lift your heel higher than your knees. Now imagine a little ball here behind your knees. Keep that ball there as you press your heel back behind you. Now hold that position so your heel is pointing at that back wall. Your heel is still higher than your knees. Now do the rotation from there. Drop your heel down, lift your heel up. Drop your heel down. It's kind of awkward. So you're going to imagine you're scraping your heel off that back wall. But it's really good for the back rotator on the hip here. It's lovely. Let's do 4 lifts. And lower for 3. Good. Last 2. Last one. Hold it up there. So your heel is higher than your knees. Keep the heel higher than your knees and extend the leg forward. Kick it. Bring the heel back and lift your heel higher than your knees. Press the leg forward. You're going to feel it right into that muscle there, especially when you bring it back here. Your knee, if you look down your thigh, your knee does not come forward. Your knee stays back here. As you extend that leg, and bend the leg. That's it. And do 4. Think about the heel coming up. For 3, feel that hip. Bring that heel up. Oh, it's nasty. Last 2. Last one. Bring that heel higher than your knees. Hold it there back behind you. Lift that leg back behind you. And that's it. So bring your knees down. That's it. Hold that position and pulse that leg for 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, drop it down. Beat your hips back to life. That is so nasty. It's quick, but it's nasty. Oh my God, let's roll to the other side before we even out on the other side with extra pain. So the bottom leg is bent, top leg is straight. Activate the glute medius. Now you will feel this bottom hip given out. Just ignore that. Okay, so top leg is nice and straight. Side of your foot is parallel to the ceiling as you press that leg up and down. Now I can lift the leg parallel to the ceiling, but I'm also bringing it forward, and that's still working the wrong muscles here. So push that leg back as you lift and lower. Good. Feel the bottom hip, ignore the bottom hip. So let's just do 4 glute medius. Up. And you're squeezing that butt. Make sure it's right here at the back of those glutes. For 3, and you're dragging your heel almost back behind you. For 2. On the last one, hold it up there. Now pull your knee to your chest. You're pulling your knee in and you're pressing back as if you're pushing through jelly. Squeeze slowly. As you press that leg back to the corner of your mat, don't let your shoulders roll forward because you've switched off your TVA muscle here. You've switched off all these here. Feel that activation if your shoulder stays nice and steady. So press back for 4, squeeze those glutes. For 3, and you're pushing through that heel bone. Squeeze, lock your knee. Last 2, and squeeze your butt. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Perfect. Last one. Press, and then pull the knee to 90 degrees. So we're just going to do a rotation. Imagine there's a ball between your knees. Lift the heel, lower the heel. Lift the heel, lower the heel. And don't let your knees touch. Keep a gap there the whole time. So you're bending your knee. Just into you're bending your knee. That's it. And you're do 4, for 3, for 2. That's it. Last one. Lift the heel higher than your knees. Now keep that angle with the heel higher than your knees. Press the leg back as if you're trying to touch the back wall and your heel is still higher than your knees. Now try it again. Bring your knee forward, keeping your heel higher than your knees. Press the leg back, and there's a little ball stuck behind your knee. See if you can keep that angle. Now what I'm looking for is shoulders rolling. When your leg goes back, don't let your shoulder roll because you switch off that TVA muscle. So imagine putting your heel on that back wall for me. So you're putting your heel back with your heel higher than your knees, which is kind of hard to think about it. For one more, let's just hold it back there for a second. Now try rotate it. I know you have to look back, but try imagine your heel is higher than your knees. Feel it right into your TFL, right into your back rotators here, into your glutes. And now let's just extend the leg nice and straight. Pull the heel to your butt. And now again, I'm doing it automatically. I have to really think about my heel higher than the knees. So just straighten the leg and just bend your heel back to your butt. That's it. So bring your heel back to sit. Yes. Now straighten the leg, kick forward as if you're kicking a little football. Yes. Bend the leg, and your heel is higher than your knees. I know it's lovely, Nikki, isn't it? It's nasty as hell. Now we're going to get a little bit more range here. We're going to play on this leg. So your heel is higher than your knees when you kick your leg back. Now swing it forward towards the camera, to the front of the room, and then bring it back. Bring your heel outside your knees. That's it. Swing it forward. Feel that range. See the difference? Bring it back. Lift your heel higher than your knees, and let's do 4. Bring it back. Yes. So you're working those external rotators for 3, or well, actually technically internal rotators. Oh, this is nasty. Last 2. Bend the heel, lift. Last one. Bend the heel, lift. Swing that leg up so your heels are higher than your knees. That's it. Let's twist it or punch it or pulse, whatever you need to do. Don't punch it. Siobhan. Do 4, 3, 2. Oh, 1. Drop it down. That is nasty, nasty stuff. So beat your hips back to life. If you have your bands, we're not finished with glutes. If you have your bands, grab your bands. We're going to stretch out a second, but get them bands ready. If you have an activation band, grab an activation band. I did have one. Let me just grab one out of this bag. So grab your activation band or make one. And let me just grab one here. Perfect. All right. So if you have an activation band, put it on. It will actually put it on in a minute. I want to stretch first because my hips are dying. But if you have to make an activation band, as in tie your bands into a loop, tie it. So you're going to cross, you're doing your figure 4 just to get that little hip to open up. Cross one ankle over to the knee, reach underneath, grab the back of that hamstring and pull that leg in to open up the hip. And you just straight away start to rock from side to side to open up that hip, right across the rotators, right across that glute medius. And you're still actively, instead of just holding the leg there, actively pull it in and feel that stretch. It's much nicer when you pull it in. Well, it's not, it's actually worse, but it's really good for those hips. Good. Do 3 and 2 and change that leg. Oh, hip is burning. So heel to the knee. Remember, it can't be the calf to the knee. It has to be the heel or the ankle. Grab the back of that opposite hamstring, pull it in, and actively pull it in, because instead of just doing the action, you got to pull that leg in and rock from side to side to open up those hips. Good. Release that tension off your hip, off the rotators. Do 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Drop those legs down. Now, put your little activation bands on, guys. Have them. Let me see the best way to do it. We're doing it outwards. Yeah, have them below your knees because it just stops them rolling up along your thighs if they're above the knees. Now, in this one, you're going to have your feet together. So we're just going to do those rotators. Actually, yeah, no, sorry. Put it above your knees on this one because I just find with the feet together one, it slips down if it's below your knees. So above your knees, have your feet together and have your knees outwards as wide as you can into those little bands. So feet together, knees out. That's it. So you're going to do your bridge up. You're going to activate your glutes and your knees are naturally wide here anyway, but I want you to still press out 4 times into those bands to activate right into those little hips. That's it. 1 more. And then you just tip your tailbone to the floor and you go straight back up again. So you're just pressing out a little bit wider with those knees. 3 more, 2 more, One more, and then you just tip your tailbone to the floor. It's not too intense. It's actually quite nice. We're just hitting on those same muscles that we just did without the bands on the previous set. So you're just doing 4 each time. Then you just tip your tailbone to the floor, go straight back up again. 4. Keep those hips high for 3, for 2, for 1. Tip your tailbone to the floor. While you're tipping your tailbone to the floor, always press outwards into those bands. Good. So as you press out, tip your tailbone to the floor. That looks like a really stretchy band for you, Tina. I might have to get you a harder one next time I see you. 2, 1. Tailbone to the floor. Last set, lift the hips. 4, that's the band I want. 4, 3, 2. Let's hold it here with the knees wide. Stay here until Tina's ready. She's just taking the mic now. I mean, taking her time. Now keep the knees nice and wide. Tip your tailbone to the floor. Lift your hips and squeeze your butt. Tip your tailbone to the floor. Lift your hips and squeeze your butt. You'll feel it right into the potatoes of your hips, close to that sacrum. Do 4, guys. For 3, lift those hips, push those knees out. For 2. Last one, hold up there nice and high. Feel all those glutes are absolutely nasty. Now wiggle your feet outwards, wide. Walk those feet out wider than your knees, as in roll those hips outwards. So let your knees fall in naturally. Let your knees fall in together, but your feet are now wider than your knees. Same kind of principle as the last set. We're going to go down with the tailbone. You might not get down as easy, but you're going to lift those hips and squeeze your butt. But your knees are together, feet wide towards the edge of your mat. So now the bands are doing nothing but just holding those knees inwards. It's you in your rotation that's working certain parts of your glutes. Pretty much the same as the last set, just a little bit fancier. Let's do 4, guys. Lift the hips and don't let those bands, stretch. Last 2. Last 1. Oh, drop those hips back down. All the little rotators are done. Pull those knees in, guys. Rock from side to side. Just soften your hips into that mat nice and gentle. Need to stretch it all out. Take those bands off. Oh my God, if you can. And then roll up and over onto all 4s. Let's open up those hips. So let's come into our box position. And we're going to go into taking the right leg forward into box position initially. We'll do the hamstring and hip. We'll do the combined. We'll do the moving one first. Remember, we got very fancy the last day. We're going to start with obviously the right foot forward, the right knee bends forward, and then we just sit back halfway, not all the way back to the heels, because this is a little bit of a quicker one. You want to sit back far enough so this right leg straightens out to a hamstring stretch, and then you go forward into a hip flexor stretch, rock back, hamstring. Okay, so your foot is in a certain position that allows you to do this, to travel forward to stretch out the hip flexors, sit back, stretch out those hamstrings. And your head stays nice and low and your hands head towards the floor. So you're trying to stay as low as you can. Now we're going to try reach up. So put the right hand on top of the right knee. Continue doing the movement. Go forward and back. Now we take the left hand up towards the ceiling. Really open up the hip flexor as we go forward. Go back, touch the floor, drop the head down. Inhale, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, go back. That's it, Iris. Inhale, go up. Exhale, go back. See if you can take both hands now. We're getting very fancy. Both hands go up. Inhale. Yes. Exhale, both hands go down, Nikki. Inhale, up. It's early morning. Yeah. Exhale, go down. Do 3. Inhale, open up those hips. Exhale, down. Good. 2. Perfect. And down. Last one. And drop those hands down, but come forward into a hip flexor stretch. So stay here into the hip flexor and we're going to go into that hip opener. So right foot wiggle across. We're going to do what Iris is doing. We're going to open up those hips. Right foot to the left side of your mat, right knee down. And you can slide in that right heel if you need to, but sink down as low as you can. Let's go straight into pigeon pose. So elbows to the floor and you're rocking your hips from side to side just to open up what we have tightened up. And you're rocking from side to side. That's it. Make sure your knee is okay with these stretches. That's it. If you can't do the stretch, if your knee is just active, even just for one day, go into your figure 4 stretch on your lower back. So we're just going to do 4 more wiggles from side to side for 3, for 2, 1, and then push up onto your hands. Dig your left foot, your back foot into that ground behind you. Let's swing that right leg back into plank position. Now lift your butt up into downward dog. I have new socks and they're slippy as hell, but you're just trying to keep this position and press your heels to the ground without slipping on your new socks. Hold that stretch. Feel the calf muscles. Feel the gastrocnemius. Let's go forward into plank and swiftly throw the left leg forward. This is just a scenic route to get back into the same stretch. So left leg goes forward, your back knee, which is your right knee, touches the mat. Then we rock back, hamstring opener. Adjust yourself in the first one. Do you need to adjust the front leg forward maybe? And then when you go forward, are you far enough forward that you feel your back hip flexor opening? So you're going to rock back, drop your head towards your knees, and rock forward, opening up your hip flexors, front calf, front ankle, rock back. Now again, you get used to this exercise. You can start to put your left hand on top of your left knee. When you feel comfortable, you can raise your right arm up to the ceiling. You're going to inhale when you go up, exhale, go back, and your head comes down towards your knee. So your head goes up. Make sure you're okay that you're not getting too dizzy when you're doing this exercise. Yes, reaching up. Inhale. It's a nice flowing action for the hip flexor to hamstring. Ooh, nearly fell over. And when you start to feel extra comfortable, take both hands into place. So both hands go down, both hands go up, hip flexor opener. And you're just constantly moving, not too fast, not too far, but you've got control. It's a really nice moving one. This is the one that always makes my knee click though. Let's do 4. And down. For 3. Really click that time. Last 2. Really good for the hip flexors, really good for those quads. Last 1. Inhale. Exhale, drop those hands down. Wiggle your left foot across to the right side of your mat. You can pull in that heel if you need to, but straighten out that back leg. And you're going to wiggle to open up the hips. You can do it on your elbows into your little sleeping swans. Check that your knee is okay. If it's not, just flip over into your back and do figure 4 to save that knee, to open up that hip. And you're rocking from side to side. Good. So you're trying to touch your left hip to the ground on the left-hand side and then roll to the right to open it up. Good. Do 4. For 3, last 2, and last 1. Now push up onto your hands, dig your right foot into the floor behind you, dig your left leg in. Let's go up into our downward dog into this position. Now, just sit here into downward dog and press both heels down evenly and just look if you can, see which heel goes down further than the other. And just let your calf muscles open. Feel that stretch going from your Achilles tendon all the way into the back of that knee joint. So let's go forward into plank position. Forward into plank, engage in those abdominals, brace in your tummy. So try to get your shoulders directly over your wrists. We're going to do our push-ups. So we're going to go down to the floor here. While we're still on our tippy toes, we're going to go all the way to the mat, all the way to the ground. Point your toes, do your swan dive. So you're going to inhale, swan dive only to the point where your lower back allows it. Now we're going to dig the toes in here. This is the hard part. You're going to go up into plank and then go back into downward dog. So you're going to engage your two muscles just a little bit more. So it's a little bit tougher. So you're going to inhale, come up into press position, to plank position. Exhale to the mat. Swan dive. Actually, we'll do it into a downward dog. That's what we'll do. Swan dive. Dig those toes in. Come up into plank and go into downward dog. That's much more fun. So downward dog instead of child pose. So let's go forward. Exhale to the mat. Swan dive. Inhale, and your toes are pointing on the inhale. Then you curl the toes. Exhale up into downward dog. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale to the mat. Inhale, swan dive. Toes dug in. Exhale. Downward dog. So a little bit of abdominal strength needed. Last set. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale to the ground. Inhale to swan dive. Exhale into downward dog. Perfect. And then sit back onto those heels, guys, into child pose. Switch off. I'm just seeing Nikki collapse there. Sit back and chillax. I was just about to collapse, but I had to check my screen. So you're going to sit here, ribs down, heads down. You're going to wiggle your hips, rocking your pelvis. And again, we're still affecting those little rotators. Shake out that wrist joint because you do compress that wrist joint. Just roll those wrists out for me, nice and gentle. And then bring it down onto the mat again. So let's lie down into our double knee beats. Now, if you want to get extra brave and double knee beats, you can grab those hand weights. If not, we're just going to do double knee beats for everyone with the hands folded across the lower back. Now, remember, when your feet are off the floor, when you're sitting here in this position, I want your tummy muscles pulled in, not relaxed, because I can do this and relax my stomach, but all I'm doing is I'm hanging from the lower back, putting all the pressure here in my discs. So learn to pull the abdominals in, and you're turning your head to save those neck muscles. You beat the heels in. Note how my torso stays nice and steady for 3 kicks. You extend into skydive and you squeeze those shoulders back. Inhale, fold the hands on the head goes down, bring your heels in 3 times. Your thighs stay off the floor the whole time. Beat the heels, 1, 2, 3. Extend. Now, it doesn't have to be fast. Preferably go slow. When you're doing it, when you're bringing the heels in, if you don't have your connection, your torso will shake on that mat. See if you can beat your heels and not shake your torso. If you're using those hand weights, that's very impressive, Ev. I'm going to try it to see how hard it is. You're going to bring your heels in. 1, 2, 3. And extend. Oh, it's lovely with the hand weights. You should grab those hand weights, guys. Everyone has, I love that. You all love a challenge. And you're extending into skydive. And you do get to rest them on your lower back every single time. Do not let the torso move. So when you're bringing your heels to your bum, your legs are still off the floor, guys. So as you beat 2, 3, your thigh muscles are off the ground. Last 2 sets. Beat 2, 3. Extend. Lovely. Last one. And on the last one, you get to hold skydive. And if you've chosen to hold the weights, fair play to you, but hold skydive position. Roll your shoulder blades back and round your shoulders. That's all I want to see. Shrug your shoulders backwards, round your shoulders. Shrug your shoulders backwards, round your shoulders. Drop your feet, same thing. Roll your shoulders back, roll your shoulders forward. That's all I want to see. Rotating your humerus. You're just squeezing and releasing. It's really good for posture. That's it. Your feet are on the floor. That's perfect. Do 4 and 3. Squeeze those arms back for 2 more. Last one. And then drop those weights for a second. Oh my God. Drop the weights, bring your heels up and just rock your heels from side to side just to decompress that lower back for me. And we did a nice fancy one with the hand weights the last time for your shoulders as well. So take your hand weights and bring your hands forward. Now, you got to really brace your abdominals. Pull your belly button in. We're going to take the right hand, and again, you bend your elbow slightly. Right hand, left leg off the ground. We're going to bend the elbow and the knee, and you're going to turn your head to look at the weight, because I want to see your forearm parallel to the floor. And then you press the weight out, press the leg out, pulling your tummy muscles. So you're going to lift, bend, turn your head, look at the weight, and extend. Just feel across those lower backs, because you're adding a little rotation through your back. Make sure your forearm, or get your forearm as parallel to the floor as you can. So exhale, pull in your tummy. Look at that weight. Inhale, return to the floor. Exhale. Squeeze the muscles at the back of your shoulders. Good. You're adding a little bit of a twist. I feel like I'm stiffer on that left side. And get more range on my right, or it feels more natural. Maybe it's as stiff as both sides, but it just feels better on the right. We're going to do 4 more of these, and try get your forearm parallel to the ground. And your thigh, the leg that's bringing you, obviously you bring your heel to your butt, that leg is off the ground. Good. I've lost count. We'll do 2 more. Yes, I'm looking at the screen. That's perfect. Last one. Pull. Yes. And release. Drop those heads down. Just feel it all across those lower backs. Wiggle your butts from side to side. Move your little weights forward. Let's do our little scorpion tail. So we'll just do the 2 heels first. Rock from side to side. And then bring it to a scorpion's tail. So extend one leg and twist across. So you're going to rotate and try keep the other hand on the floor. And just check your lumbar rotators as you go from side to side. You can move your hands in whatever comfortable position it is initially, because your back might not like it. And then you can just restrict your movements on your upper back a little bit more by putting your hands flat to the floor. Until you start to get comfortable, let your hands move. When you start to get a little bit more pliable, then you keep your hands on the floor. So you want the rotation to come from your back. Definitely one side is harder than the other. And let's do another 4. Feels like my back needs to crack for 3. Twist across. Last 2. Just rotate. Good. Last one. Oh, that's lovely. Bring it back into center. Push back onto your downward dog position. Bums to heels. Give it a little stretch. And let's get our spikies, guys. So get your spikies. We are going to do our quads today. Now I'm going to use the foam roller initially. So get yourselves comfortable. If you want to use foam roller on your quads, get your foam rollers. If you want your spikies, get your little spikies. My spikies have gone walkies today. All right, so you get your foam roller out in front, 2 spikies, both legs at the same time if you're using your little spikies. It's completely up to yourself what you want to do, but it's just going to release the pressure off those knees and hips. 1 spikies on one side of the room. So if you're using the 2 spikies, you're going to go to the center quad muscle and you're going to be rolling the 2 spikies up and down the front of your thighs. If you're using your foam roller, you're going to have obviously both legs on at the same time. But you cannot kind of relax on your foam rollers. You can't get your chest to the floor. No, get your chest to the floor. But the foam roller, you're literally going to use your elbows, your forearms. You're going to walk up and down till the roller almost hits your knees, almost as close to your knees as you can, and up to your thighs. Bye, Ev. And then roll it back up again. Good. And again, spikies are really effective. Do not knock spikies. Rolling is brilliant. It just gets more muscles in one go. The spikies get right into the smaller muscles and you progress to spikies. You really do. Good. Now, if you're doing, again, spikies and foam rolling, you might have to single leg at a time, but I think foam rolling, you can get to both legs. So when you go up and down, find your sensitive muscles and bring your heels to your butt. Do single leg, do double leg, whatever you want to release the adhesions in your quads. This is very important for anyone suffering from knee and hip pain, and actually even lower back pain, because the quads affect your lower back. So move up and down, find another sensitive spot and bring your heels to your butt. Lovely. Shouldn't be painful at all. So now we're going to introduce you to a single leg to get more effective. This is where the spikies can really kick off here. So one leg, so if you're on the foam roller, you can literally just throw one leg over the other, or you can put one knee off to the side. It's completely up to yourself. So if I measure them this way, that's what you can do. But if you're on the spikies, it's easy. Just take one spiky out. You're doing the single leg and you're going to go up and down along the center of your quad and find that sore area. While you're doing the single leg, you're going to shift slightly to the side to get a much more sore muscle. It's called the vastus lateralis. So same thing, if you're on the spiky, you have that one spiky, it's in the center of your quad, and you just shift your weight slightly over to the side and you roll up and down along that. It's not your IT band just yet, but it's just to the edge of the IT band. Oh, seriously, spikies are worse than the foam rollers. So when you do find your favorite sore spot, you bring your heel to your butt. What is Ira's at? Bringing your heel to your butt to release the adhesion. Now, if you're on the spiky, you get to drop your chest to the floor. And that's the nice thing about the spikies. You actually get to relax. Well, not really relax because you're still in pain, but you get to bring your heel to your butt quite comfortably to break the adhesion between the muscle and the fascia. So this is our myofascial release. That's it. Find your sore spot. Mine's close to the knees. Yours could be close to the hips. Center of your quads. Everyone's going to be different. Let's do the other quad. And let's do the same thing and pray that it's not as bad as the one we just did. So you're not fully in center. You're not fully on the side. You're slightly between center and side of your thigh. It's your vastus lateralis. And then you go up and down. Single spiky or single leg on that foam roller. So nasty. You find your favorite sore spot. Oh my God, you try relax and then you do your myofascial release where you bring in your heel to your bum to take the pressure off the knees. Oh man, it's kind of, yeah, you can't really relax, can you? Just only in the spikies. Spikies are good. You actually get to your chest before you get to chillax, but the foam roller, you can't. You have to stay up on your elbows and work those arms. Siobhan's wrecked already. So you bring in the heel to your bum to break the fascia around the muscle and release that adhesion so your muscle works freely and independently. Oh, I found a really sore spot. And then we roll off that roller or spiky. Give yourself a little rest for a second. Your thighs should be burning. Then we get the 2 spikies, back to normal spikies. Move your roller out of the way and let's do those glutes. So lie back onto the floor, guys. And let's put the spikies under the hips. Now we did the rotators today, so move your spikies yourself to find your sensitive areas. So when you take your legs to tabletop, don't pull your knees in towards your chest. Truly take it to tabletop where your knees are over those spikies. Then separate your knees and go from side to side, but start to move your spikies. Grab the spikies with your hands, move the spikies up or down or in and out to find your trigger points. Find your sensitive areas. So we're going to try and hit the rotators today. So let's go over to the right side, just for argument's sake. Take it to the right. Now, with your right leg, we're actually going to draw a little circle. So with your right knee, you're going to bring it down towards the floor, and then you're going to extend it out, pull it back up, circle it down towards the mat, and back up. Now you might hear movement or clicking or clunking in the hips. Mine's do it every time, but just ignore it. That's it. Now at certain angles, you might feel a little, trigger point in your hip. That's the angle I want you to find, or the movement I want you to find to get that spiky in at that sore spot. And then you just stay at that angle there, and you can do tinier movements, or you can just continue doing circles, but move your leg or your spiky to find that trigger point that catches the most. That's it. Lean in as much as you can bear. And let's do the other side. So you go over to the other hip, same thing. Go to a 45-degree angle, and then you just drop the knee out, press it down, pull it back up. So you're drawing circles with that thigh. And see if your hip makes any noise. See if it hurts at any angle. Oh, and then you keep the angle that catches you the most. And you can play around with that small little angle. Tiny movements with the leg. Try break down the adhesion there. Do a cross fiber friction. Ooh, that's nasty. Get right into that sore spot. And again, remember with your spikies, if you've got the soft ones, start to slowly progress with the hard ones, especially if you're doing the Pilates 2 or 3 times a week. You progress quicker with the spikies. And they don't have the same benefit. They have niceness to them, but they don't have the same benefit. Benefit means pain. Now drop those feet onto the floor. Let's do lower backs for me. Okay, so 2 spikies in together into the arch of your back. You can keep your feet on the floor, or you can curl your knees up to your chest, but you're going to rock from side to side to soften that lower back. Now start to move your spikies around if you find new areas. Now you might feel bad on your back some days, but you will still have adhesions or tension in the muscle somewhere. So move the spikies around and find the tight muscles. Now again, you can continue rocking from side to side or rolling forward and back like a little ball. Massaging that area. Good. Find those tight little muscles. Release the adhesions within them. So now let's lean over to the right. Okay, so you're going to put your right elbow on the floor and just lean yourself over to the right hand side. I actually put my knees into my hand so I can just sit there and just switch off and not tense up my abdominals, not tense up my back muscles, and let the spikies melt in there and just breathe for a few seconds. And then do the same to your other side. Put your elbow on the floor, lean across and hold that position. Just let the muscles accept the spiky. And then slowly bring it back into center. Drop your feet on the floor. Let's take the spikies up between your shoulder blades into your rhomboids. Now, you can have them narrow, you can have them wide between your shoulders, but you're going to drop your head down, wrap the arms across your chest. You can rock, but if you are rolling, try keep the arms across your chest, keep your heads on the floor, but just roll slowly. Because with the arms across your chest, it kind of opens up the shoulder blades, and it gets right in along the edge of that scapula. Now roll up and down along the scapula to find your trigger point, your pressure points. And when you find it, keep your heads on the floor and just rock from side to side on that pressure point. So you lean to the left side, lean to the right side, and just massage yourself through that trigger point. Find your sore muscles. And then slowly drop your hips back down. Move your spikies upwards towards that upper trapezius. And we're going to do a little bit on those traps now. So heels to your bum, lift the hips, take the arms up to the ceiling and rock the arms from side to side. So you're applying a little bit of pressure as you just rock the arms, and that's fine. If you want to increase the pressure just momentarily, roll your head and lean over from one spiky and then lean over to the other spiky. So you're actually moving your torso across those spikies. And you're going to inhale, take your arms back, exhale towards your belly button. Inhale, arms go back, exhale towards your belly button. And you're going to do one more. Inhale. As you exhale, sink your spines down to the floor. Drop your arms down by your sides and just shrug your shoulders to your ears. Release all that pressure, all that tension. Now just stay here. Keep the spikies into the upper trapezius for a second. Take your two arms back as if you're trying to touch the floor above your head, but keep your hips on the floor. Now shrug your shoulders. So you're shrugging up and you're actually pinching that upper trapezius with your spikies for a few seconds. And then you just bend your elbows, let the muscles switch off, and then do it again. So you straighten your elbows, shrug up. 3, 2, 1, bend your elbows, release. And let's do it again. Straighten the elbows, shrug up. 3, 2, 1, bend your elbows, switch off, and just kind of shrug your shoulders again. Release all that tension, all that pressure. Now pop the two spikies up to your neck. Legs down nice and straight, hands down by your sides. And you're going to rock your heads from side to side, massaging those neck muscles. Nod your heads up and down, releasing all that pressure, all that tension. With your head, wiggle your head around in circular motions. Find those little tight areas. And reverse those circles. Now press the spiky, a single spiky, up to the base of your skull. And again, you're just going to wiggle slowly from side to side. So you're looking over your right shoulder and over your left shoulder and roll all the way across. Get that range back into your neck. Nod your heads up and down. And with your head, draw circles out and around. And reverse those circles. Now take those spikies out, drop your heads and roll the two spikies over the sides and top of your head, releasing all that tension. Bring it down onto your temples, draw circles. Right down onto your cheekbones. Right down across your jaw, across your chin, and down under your neck. And right down onto your chest. So roll the spikies across your chest and your shoulders and your ribs. And right to where your chest and your shoulder meets, that junction gets super tight. So roll the spike across that section on both sides. And then slowly bring the spikies up, bring it right up into your neck muscles, okay? Lift your chin, roll the spikies across the sides of your neck, roll back one spiky and then the other, roll it underneath your jaw, underneath your earlobes until you find the tension at the side of those neck muscles that causes that, back of your neck pain. And then roll up into your jaw, right up into your cheekbones, right up into your temples, over your forehead, and then circle through the top and sides of your head. Take the spikies in your hands now. Bring your hands down by your sides. Take a nice deep breath in. Squeeze on those spikies. Tense up every muscle in your body. As you exhale, I want you to relax your feet, legs, hips, shoulders, arms, and release those spikies.